Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So I'll just give everyone a minute to fall in and join, and then we'll get started.
And Elizabeth, how many people are joining us today?
We've got 10 in at the moment, Anna, so that's good. We'll just give them another minute or so, and then we'll get started. Okay, well, let's get into it. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the second of our masterclasses for 2026. And today our focus is going to be around task management. So if you did join us last week or you've had an opportunity to look at that recording, we were looking at just getting everything back on track with the new year starting. So if your business has changed a little bit, we spoke about changing those business areas last week and how we wanted to do that. And now this week we're going on and we're looking at what do we have to do if we have to manage tasks for people. So before we begin, we would just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of all of the lands on which we meet today, and we'd like to pay our respect to elders past and present. I would also like to just welcome Anna again, who is our Executive Director of Business Development. I'm sure you've all met Anna before. Anna is very passionate about empowering organisations to think differently about how we manage quality, safety and risk. And you all know me. If you don't, I'm Elizabeth. I'm the Customer Success Manager here at Logiqc, and together Anna and I hope that this webinar series will help you to achieve everything you want to achieve on the Logiqc platform. Okay, just a reminder that we do record this session and we will provide it to you in an email. The link is in an email, so share it with those in your teams. And if you do have any questions, the webinar or the Q&A panel or the little chat, Anna will monitor that as we go through. So please pop them in. We'll deal with them as they come up or at the end. And if for some reason we're unable to answer all of your questions today, we'll definitely include them in the recording. Alrighty, we do have a new focus for 2026, and that's that each month we are going to take a deep dive into one specific area of the platform, and each webinar will look at that area from different perspectives. So we've got the 2 masterclasses, which focuses on why and how we do things, and then we have our feature and focus, which is next week. And we really do want to focus on something that's new or something that we may have forgotten about, or we may not be aware of if we recently purchased a new register. So that's what we then will call our focus feature. And then our last webinar of the month, or in week 4, is the clinic. And that's all about understanding the complexity. So that's an opportunity for all of you to bring your questions. We don't record that session, so mics and cameras are on. Bring your questions, talk to us about your specific experience so we can resolve that. And we can share amongst group of like-minded people what our different experiences are. Anna, did you have anything, or are we ready to get into it?
We're ready to get into it, Elizabeth.
Okay, great. Okay. So I think Anna has some questions that she wants me to answer.
Yeah, I'm going to start, Elizabeth, with a really simple question, trying to replicate the real world in that sometimes we need to assign tasks to different people. This isn't something I want to do permanently, but someone's just rung in for the day and said, look, they can't be here, their child's unwell, they've got to work from home, and there was one thing they needed to do, but they needed to be on site. And I'm going to ask if you would show us how you can reassign a task. So if from the perspective of someone on your team.
Okay. So from what we can do to reassign a task, and like Anna said, this is for someone that's called in sick today, but they know, say, for instance, they had a reporting requirement that was due so that their compliance needed to be done today. As their manager, what you can do is you can come into that particular register, or of course you can check their tasks, but you can come into that particular register and you can look at that compliance that staff member had due. And of course, that will be in the action stage. So if we look here at Samantha, she's doing her compliance. It's the part of the ACCC claims, and it's in the action stage for her. if as her manager, I click on that task, it will open it in the action stage where we require Samantha to do something. But what I can do as her manager is from here I can reassign it. So this is an assignable permission. What some of users with approval licenses have the ability to do if they have that permission is to reassign the task. Now from here I can choose to reassign the task to another member in her team. Let's say we're giving it to Clementine, and I'll say Sam is absent. Today this task needs to be completed.
So Elizabeth, I also wanted to just demonstrate that. So after you press the reassign button.
Oh, I just wanted, before I press that reassign button, we've got the option here. So you might see this little tick box in the management group of registers where I can assign this task as a once-off to Clementine, or if for some reason if let's say Sam left the organisation, I can make a permanent change to that. So all future tasks will then go to Clementine, which isn't what we want to do today. We want to give this task to Clementine because Sam is absent. So next time when that particular compliance is due, we still want it to go back to Sam.
So Elizabeth, I wanted to show how you can just go to dashboards and use tasks this week and just look at my team's tasks. So
Yeah.
just that first box there, task to be completed. Okay. Just on that. Okay. Yep. My tasks. Yeah. So just from here, you can just click on even any of those managed tasks there just to sort of just demonstrate. Yeah. So I wanted to sort of just demonstrate that you don't have to go to the register level. You can actually just stay at the dashboard level and
Absolutely.
you can find the tasks. Okay.
Yeah. So again,
so you've
you
answered the next question.
It.
Okay. Sorry. You go.
No, I just wanted to say, so again, like Anna said, from your task register in your dashboard, the manager can, of course, go to their team's task and do that reassignment again. As with everything in Logic, because we are so transparent, we want to know that reason about why you're reassigning that, and that will be included in the action history as we move forward.
Okay, now I want to go to something more complicated. I want to look at something where a staff member has left the organisation, and before I go over to the admin mode, I want to know, well, what is that person dealing with at the moment that we might need to actually transfer over to other staff? So if you could show us how you would do that.
Okay, so again, if we from our left navigator pane look at our tasks. And we can look at either all open tasks or all tasks for, say, the last 12 months. So depending on what your time frame is, you might choose to use a different one of those options. But then what we want to do in our filters is we want to see what that person who has since left the organisation had responsibility for. So in our filters, we can use the assign to component to see if there are any tasks sitting with a position vacant at the moment. So I know that our compliance officer has left and that we need to reassign their tasks. So when I come to the P, because this is in alphabetical order, I can see there that there are tasks associated. So are tasks that are belonging to our compliance officer, but that position is currently vacant. So when I select that and I apply my filter, all of the tasks that are associated with that role will sit here and are currently assigned to position vacant. So these are typically the things that we will need to reassign, or that will be automatically reassigned if we have someone new that steps into that position.
So Elizabeth, what I would want to do straight off is use that register column and put them into a order so I could see it by registers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to, yep. So now it's grouped into accreditation. Now, I'm actually not interested in some registers. I'm really particularly interested in some high sensitive registers. Can I use the filter to select by register area?
Absolutely. So if we want to really focus on those things that say, for instance, relates to governance, we can go and say, yep, we know that they've got accreditation, but that might not be our priority at the moment. But some of our assets may need to be managed, some of our contracts, some of our documents. So we can choose them, and that will again take those 23 tasks that we have there and bring them down to say 2. So we can see there's 2 documents that this position manages that might be coming up really quickly that we need to be able to reassign to other people.
Okay, so if we open up one of those and we've got them at the manage stage, I just want to ask, can you, when you're opening that up and using that reassign, and even though it's a document, if you click the reassign, can I permanently change that one? No. So that permanent change you had before was relating to certain types of registers.
Yes, that's correct. That relates to certain types of registers, and they are mostly our task drivers. So really our group of management registers, which includes audit, compliance, license, maintenance, and training. They are the ones that are regularly reoccurring. So we've got monthly compliances or quarterly compliances. So we really need that to take over, especially if someone is replaced or someone else needs to complete that task. So that's why it gives us an option to do it as a once-off or as a permanent reassignment.
Okay, so now I'm not going to use it from this level. I don't want to change it from here. What I want to now do is actually take a whole bulk of all of those tasks and give them to other staff. So how do I do that?
Okay, so that's really quite easy if you have administrative permissions. So, or otherwise, speak to someone in your organisation that does have that functionality or does have admin permissions. So in admin mode, on the left-hand side of your navigator pane, right at the bottom, there is a functionality that's called task management. What task management allows us to do is to select the types of tasks or responsibilities that we want to transfer. So we knew that there were 2 documents that were required to be managed by that compliance officer role. So I can select that I want to manage those managed tasks, and I want to know what the document they were in the document registers, and I want to do them from the position vacant, which is our compliance officer. And there I can see where they are. And that gives me then an opportunity to say who else in our organisation can do those. Now, there's only 2 in this instance, but depending on the person's responsibility, there might be 20, 30, 50 documents that you can then very quickly and very easily transfer to someone else with responsibility in the organisation. What I've done was I've clicked on the top of the row because I want to send all of those tasks over to someone else. And at the moment, that job is going to Clementine, and I can click transfer, and those tasks will be reassigned to Clementine to manage from now on.
So, Elizabeth, what you're saying is when you use that functionality at this point in the process, if you're transferring, it's a permanent change. These are not one-off changes. You're actually changing the review officer or the manager or whoever it is, but it's
Correct.
a permanent change.
That's right.
Okay. All right. And what's the purpose of when you look up at the top where it said manage? I saw there were another 2 areas that you could drop down. So if you could go back up to there, yeah, I saw that.
Just going to take a step back because it's kind of just there. So this gives you an opportunity to transfer any of the task types that we have. So if you want to look at action tasks that that person may have responsibility for, those would typically be where they are assigned as an action officer. So any audits, compliance, licensing, or audits, compliance, or maintenance that they might have, or they were a reviewer of a document or a reviewer of a contract, those are typically what those group of tasks are relating to. Manage will be anything in our governance registers, or if they were assigned as an incident or a feedback manager in the reporting registers, or of course approve and own anywhere where they were.
Can we have a look at one of those? Yeah, can we have a look at the approve? Can you pull down what that would look like? So if we go again to other registers on that position vacant? Yep.
Oh, let's look at someone that we know would have some. So let's say we want to.
Can we stay with that position vacant?
No, they don't currently have any tasks that they have responsibility for approving. They do actually.
Yep.
There's nothing there. So not in that particular register, but you would go through systematically and check in every single register where they may have had responsibility. And that's why it's really useful to go and do what we did in the beginning and find out all those tasks, and then you can do them register by register. So we know that they have lots of responsibilities in the accreditation register, where they were the manager, for instance.
So if we went back to that a document register just to demonstrate, can we have a look at action and documents just to really just stay with one and just have a look at what that is? So action review, document, position vacant, nothing. Okay, so what you're saying is that what we have to do is register by register, which is the second field. We need to look at the top field and see what was either allocated to that position by management, action, or approval, and make decisions then about who they get assigned to.
Yeah, definitely. And some of those decisions may be very different. They may not go to the same person, because if the person was a reviewer of certain documents, they may not necessarily be the manager and owner. So you need to that's why they are separated. So you can think about each of those different scenarios and the documents that relate to them specifically.
Okay, Elizabeth, what about in the circumstances where someone's left the organisation, like our compliance officer, and we are actually going to appoint a compliance officer? How do I transfer everything over without having to go through task management?
Well, that's the magic of Logic. You don't have to. Because the tasks are associated with the position, we can, essentially, as we assign the new person to the position, so let's say we've got a new employee, her name is Beck Smith. We allocate the position of compliance officer to Beck, and as we can see here, it's very clear. If we would have had multiple compliance officers, it's very clear to see which one is vacant. It doesn't have the little tick assigned next to it. We assign the position title of compliance officer to her. We fill in the rest of her details form. We assign her role and permission, just like we would for any other, or her roles and her teams like we would for any other staff. Assign it to the area of the business that she sits within. And we can choose her manager. And once we save her task, we now go back and we look at all those vacant tasks that we had for the, so we just go around, let me just clear my filter and do them all again. We then look at all our tasks and we look at that assigned to position. We'll can go and check and see if there's anything that's vacant. We no longer have a vacant position here, but we do now have a position of Beck Smith and the compliance officer, and all of those tasks now sit with Beck.
So what we've seen is that we can allocate just a one-off when someone's away on leave or away for the day for whatever reason, or the demand on the position is too great and we just need to shift some things sideways. We've also looked at how we can allocate different tasks to different people, and now you're showing us really the global one, which is Rob's left and Beck's going to take the role over, and just by simply assigning the role back to Beck, she inherits all of the tasks that were previously given to Rob.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes it so easy. And that's why we do need to have that unique position identifier where we have multiple positions, so that at a quick glance, we can see which one's vacant, and we know that those tasks are the ones that will be carried over to the new incumbent in that position.
So, Elizabeth, as I was looking at my platform and I know that I had a range of positions that are vacant, where do I start? Where do I sort of go, okay, what am I dealing with? Where should I start with the analysis?
You really want to look from the all task register. So when we're in this register that we're in right now, we really want to focus on all the tasks in the organisation. Because we want to know of things that might be upcoming as well. So not just the things that are due now and are open now, because in 6 weeks' time, if you relook at this, there may be new things that are now due for review or due for management that has formed into that place. So when you look at that all task register and you use your filters, you should be able to really quickly come down to P in the alphabet, because all of the tasks that are not currently associated with an individual, so a position that is vacant, will have that position vacant prior, where the name used to be, and then the position title. So if we had any more in this platform that were sitting with the vacant position, we would be able to see position vacant and the position that
So
had responsibility for those tasks.
can we just pick one of those people that it doesn't really, and I know it doesn't say position vacant, but just to show that sort of filter. So what you're saying that if that had a position vacant in front of being the practice manager, what we were looking at now is all of the tasks that are currently with a position that's vacant.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay. All right. But what we can do through that, I think what's useful to look at it through the task management thing is that we're able to divide these tasks by register and by type, whether they are for action officers, for approval officers, or
For managers,
for managers. Yep.
The other
So can
thing
we just? You go. You go.
The other thing that is really useful, if you look at it from this perspective, is that the role or the position that is vacant may not be a position that we're going to fill again. So it may be a position where we need to separate those tasks to a number of different people in our team. And that having it in this order where we can see them by register, by responsibility, because we know what it is that she needs to do. That way we can separate those that, say, for instance, require management to a member of the team, where those that require action to another member of the team.
Okay, so in that all task tab there in last 12 months, will that also pick up where maybe I am the manager of a document and that document isn't coming up for review for 2 years? Is that going to pick it up from there?
This will be the things in the last 12 months. You might have to go through all of these and look at your upcoming approvals as well. And that will be things that might sit way into the future. So if we look at accreditation here, that might be 6, 12, 18 months down the track. So that gives you an indication of things that she might have upcoming approvals for. So again, maybe or having a check on both instances, looking in your all tasks and then using the task management functionality in the admin register will make sure that you don't miss anything that might have to be reassigned.
It sounds like you would use the task management, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Can we have a look at that feature again? I think this is where if they're not due now, it really is best to go over to task management. So can you just show me what I would be at approval level that's for Beck on one of those ones? So this is what she's approving. This is what's been transferred to her on accreditation. Okay, yep. And if we could select Beck again.
I don't think, so she's got one thing currently. And that's the thing that you'll need to reassign. So Beck is, because she's the compliance officer, she might just have that one thing, but it is really important to go through it quite strategically because different people have different responsibilities in the organisation. So you want to make sure that you capture them all and reassign them all appropriately.
So I'd say even when you've moved a staff member, like you've done that global thing and Beck's taken over that role, whoever that other person was, I can't remember their name. Let's call them Rob. It really still is good to go back and have a look through this, I think, because there might have been some things given to Rob because he had special skills in an area or a special project, and they really don't belong with Beck. So this would be a way of being able to really see the detail of what's been assigned to an individual by task type, whether it's approval or whether it's manage or whether it's action, by register.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, Anna, Rob might have inherited some tasks when another person left that's not quite fitting it within Beck's skill set. And because you have the ability to select through the list, you would be able to only select those that apply to Beck and reassign the others to another member of the team that's most appropriate to manage those items.
So a lot of the examples we've looked at, Beck hasn't had much to do. Can we have a look at documents like approval, stay with approval and Beck, but can we just change over and just sort of start to see? Right, so what is Beck doing? Can we have a look? All right, is she an action officer, is she, mainly?
She's an approver, but she doesn't have quite as many tasks. Right. Maybe we can use Harper as an example, because Harper does have a few more tasks in her task box. So here we can see she's got a number of other responsibilities. If we go down the list, we can see they're quite significant. But just by a quick view, we can see she's got some fire safety things, she's got housekeeping, she's got evacuation, she's got epidemiology, she's got a range of responsibilities within the organisation. And that might be typically where we want to separate those and give the clinical stuff to a specific member of our team, because we may choose not to, or we know that it's going to take us 6 or 12 months to replace Harper. So we might choose to move some of her items to different members of our team.
So can we have a look at that? If I was on the executive team, can you go up and have a look and see what if I was Harper and I'm on the executive team, manager's fine, proves fine, but what am I reviewing or actioning? Can I have a look at that first one by that position? So review and action, great. So we've got someone on the executive team who hasn't been assigned things like actioning things or reviewing things. Yep. So again, this function here could be used by quality managers to sort of to make sure that across the entire system, the right things have been assigned to people. So this may not just be used for, in instances where we've got position vacant, but also ensuring that the alignment between people's responsibilities and what's in the system correspond to each other.
Yeah, because if we do have a lot of action and review tasks assigned to executive directors, they may not have time. They are everyone's super busy these days, but our executive team is even more so. So it may be more appropriate to assign that to a lower level and make them a manager or an approver, so they have the final say.
Elizabeth, let's have a look at Rachel's position. She's the CEO. Let's stay with action and review on the document register and let's see what she's been given. Right, and can we have another register? Can we just flip between the registers for her? I'm just wanting to make sure that she hasn't been given things at that level. So, yep, just let's say she hasn't got assets. She's not doing, she's got an audit. Right, so there's something I would be wanting to move. And so let's have a look at that in terms of changing that over. Can we move that down to our quality manager?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we want to do is select that tick box.
Yep.
And then move it to Georgina, who is our quality manager, who should take responsibility for that audit and transfer the task.
So I think if we've got bottlenecks in the organisation and someone's saying that they've got a lot of work to do, what the quality manager could come in and is actually, okay, let's have a look what is the spread of their responsibilities across the system to sort of look to see whether the load is manageable. And in this environment here, we could be talking about existing staff but trying to change their load to make it more manageable. And I think this is the place that it would be great to do it from, because they'll see deep into the system anything where they are assigned to be the review of a document, they can actually look at it from that perspective. I think that's a really useful area, and I think it's where if you're going to do data cleansing, I think this is where you want to hang around in terms of if you're looking for data cleansing around areas of responsibility. So if we've got a workplace health and safety officer, what we want to make sure is that they have got the responsibilities that align with their position, and so we would be looking at, well, what across the system fits with those responsibilities. Yeah.
And it's also, if we do this regularly as part of our data cleansing, like you said, Anna, it's also going to pick up those little things that where we moved something from Sam to Ava because Sam was unwell that day and the job needed to be done. It's going to pick up those little things that where we may have made a mistake and accidentally picked, let's reassign it always. It's just going to keep you on top of those little changes, or where there was an edge case where we said, okay, well, while this person's away, we'll just move these tasks to that person. We all forget, we're all human. We all know that we took we made a copy, we exported everything, and we were going to reassign them back to the right person. But this is a quick and easy way for you just to stay on top of that and to make sure that those things have been moved as part of your regular checks with the quality management system.
Well, Elizabeth, I haven't got any more questions. Thank you.
Great. I'll just check if anything's come through the chat. Righty. If we've got no questions from the audience, just a reminder that there are some resources that will help you through these processes. They aren't things that we do every single day, having to manage staff that leave our organisation or having to reassign tasks. Yes, we do want to be looking at our data cleansing more regularly, And these resources will help you when you have the opportunity to do that. If there are no questions, I would just like to say thanks, Sana. Thank you. Oh, Julie has a question for us. Julie, can you put it in the chat because we won't be able to see your mic or hear your mic, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I should have told everyone from the start. I love it if people gave questions.
Yeah.
So if you're attending next week, think about questions that you want or tap them in while we're having the session because, yeah, we really want to respond to what the questions that you have.
And please bring them to the clinic when you come to the clinic. Just giving Julie an opportunity to finish her typing.
Oh, great. If a task is reassigned, does it register the old task under the previous person's position? Answer, Elizabeth. I'll hand that one to you.
Julie, absolutely. So anything that was done until 11th of March that belonged to Beck will stay with Beck. Everything moving forward that now belonged to Rob that now belongs to Beck will carry Beck's name.
Fantastic. Thank you.
No problem. Anna, thanks for being with us today and asking all the questions. It's really great. Everyone for joining us, thank you so much. We hope you got some really good strategies out of this session. We are looking forward to seeing you at the Feature and Focus next week and the Logic Clinic in week 4. So have a fabulous day and thank you for joining us. See you, everyone.
Ciao.